and we shot that night, and then I had to come through, kick the door in, David, and somebody had locked it. And so it's also like 4 a.m. It's snowing. Yes. It's so cold, and I kicked the door, and I actually got a groin pull out of this.
Well, this is going to be great.
Welcome to the White House Pod with David A.R.
I'm going to finish what I started. It's not easy, but it's simple.
Guys, I'm very, very excited to have this guy on the podcast. We have been trying to get him on the podcast forever. He's a highly sought-after director, also apparently a father and husband. But more importantly, he's my pal, and I've had the joy working with him on several movies, including the God's Not Dead movie, Harold Cronk.
Hey, Dave White.
How are you, buddy?
Good, man. It's good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Are you in? Are you over there in Michigan? Or
I am in the Great White North, man. Yes.
Harold, how many movies have you directed so far? Do you know? Do you know your count?
Oh, I was not prepared for that question. I think I'm over 10 at this point.
Are any of the movies that you direct not blockbusters, or are they always blockbusters?
Oh man. It's funny. You always have that those first few films when you're just getting started. That it's a lot of training ground.
Was God's Not Dead the first movie?
No, man. My first feature was with you, Jerusalem Countdown.
That is true. That is true. I don't know if you noticed, but my hair is a little darker today. And I was thinking back, like, when is the last time that my hair was darker? And it was with you in Jerusalem Countdown.
Yeah, man. That was baptism by fire, that movie. It was amazing. I have a whole story about that if you want to hear it.
Of course we want to hear it. You say how difficult that movie was, and it certainly had some issues, but it turned out pretty darn good. That's a good movie.
It's always this mix of resources and time, right? And trying to get the absolute best thing you can in camera with what resources you have. So that film, we were actually producing the movie Johnny at our studios in Michigan. I'm sure you remember Johnny.
Yeah, of course.
And you and Mike brought me the script for Jerusalem Countdown.
Who directed Johnny? Why am I drawing a blank on who directed Johnny?
Is it DB or
Oh, D. David.
Yeah, D. Right. David. Yeah. So I got the script from Mike, and he had read one of my other screenplays, and you guys are like, "Hey, do you want to direct this?" And it was, it's the thing that a director dreams of, the opportunity to direct your first feature. And I was like, "Oh, this is amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Let me take the script home and read it." And I went home and I read it, and I thought that we're probably going to need to rewrite this. So I came back and I'm like, "Hey, this is really fun. There's so much potential here. We'll get the next draft done. We're thinking like next spring to shoot this." And Mike's like, "We're holding over the crew from Johnny. We're going to shoot the film in 12 days. Go do a director's pass on the script and get ready. Also, don't worry about producing Johnny anymore. We'll fill in the gaps. Go scout locations and make this happen." And so that's what I mean by baptism by fire, man. It was just, we're going. And it was a great experience. It was so much fun working with you and getting to do some of those awesome, fun fight sequences. There's a couple really good fight sequences. And Shanley did a great job as DP. And I just remember that we closed off an entire street in Manistee, Michigan. And at 3 a.m, we are having a gun battle between police and terrorists. And these guys are cracking off AK-47 rounds just like a mile a minute. And the entire neighborhood is out there watching like nobody is sleeping that night.
It is kind of funny that, by the way, if you're listening to Harold Cronk and yours truly, if you go on Spotify or YouTube right now, you can see images of this amazing movie that he's talking about, and my hair too, because it's a different color. Okay, so wait a second. That is funny though, how fast it had to ramp up, and I forgot about that evening. Of that is actually a great action sequence. Of the cars squeal in, and the police cars. You got ambulances, and this full-on shootout with AK-47s. It's actually, I completely forgot about that. Were we using live rounds as well? We were, right?
I mean blanks, not live rounds. That's a different movie. If with
No, yeah, but blanks,
yeah,
live blanks.
yeah, we had our amazing. Do you remember our amazing Russian stunt coordinators that we had on that? Yeah, those guys were, and then we had
I
The Michigan armorers. Those guys took you guys out and like taught you how to fire fully automatic weapons.
That was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed that actually. In fact, that's I think the last time that I was firing fully automatic weapons out in Michigan. I remember it very clearly though. That was fun.
Well, I don't remember because I didn't get to go. You
Oh,
guys,
you didn't?
I was keeping things going on set. You guys were out playing with guns.
We did. And they had some kind of a World War II thing, that you feed through the
Yes,
It was a
yeah.
lot of fun, and that thing. Yeah.
We had Carrie, your buddy Carrie, who was an actor, was in that movie.
Carrie Scott. Yeah.
And then Marco Khan, who is we. Oh my gosh, Marco, love that guy.
From God's Not Dead. Yeah.
You guys had that big fight sequence in the basement of that house.
That's a good sequence, though. It's actually a really good. All the stunts were great in it. My one memory of that movie, the clearest memory was the last night. My daughter Ocean, I think, was being born, or she was in Andrea's belly. I was supposed to get back for the ultrasound. This is what it was, and I was like, guys, I gotta be out of here because this is my dead. I had been here also through Johnny. I had been there a while. I needed to go home,
Right.
and
Yes.
and we shot that night, and then I had to come through, kick the door in, just kick the door in, David, and somebody had locked it. And so it's also like 4 a.m. It's snowing.
Yes.
It's so cold, and I kicked the door, and I actually got a groin pull out of this.
I don't mean to
So
laugh,
then
man, but
we
it
shot
was,
the rest of the dude, it was so painful because by the time I got to the airport at 7, then I had to drive to, because of the blizzard, you had to drive to wherever, Grand Rapids, 2.5
Yes.
hours. Look at Harold's crying. You had to drive to Grand Rapids 2.5 hours, and I couldn't barely walk. I was so much in pain, and we were sitting on the tarmac forever. I was like on 6 ibuprofens or some 8 maybe. It was some ridiculous amount that I was just trying to get home and in pain.
yes, man, it was it was one of those moments.
And of course,
where,
I missed the ultrasound too.
yeah,
Of course.
of course. Yeah, it was one of those moments where it's that take where everything goes wrong. Like take one, oh, so and so was in the frame. Oh, and we were on take like 9. It was the last take. You're like, guys, this is the one. And we literally have a car waiting outside the door of the set to drive you to the airport, right? And we're like, okay, everybody get set. Here we go, ready, and action. And then I hear wham, and the door doesn't move. And I hear, oh, you had the door had somehow gotten locked and you pulled your groin. Oh my gosh. But we did it. You did one more take and you came through it and it was awesome. And then we carried you to the car.
I think I kicked it with the other leg. That take.
Oh man.
Prop the door open. Just prop it open.
Good times, brother. Good times.
Yeah, that's funny. Very funny. All right, so fast forward. What was your second movie? Was God's Not Dead your second movie, or was there a movie in between?
I did the Mickey Madsen movies after Jerusalem Countdown. And then so I think God's Not Dead was my 4th or 5th film.
Oh, wow. So you were like a trained professional by the time you did that.
I had earned my set stripes for sure.
Well, you totally had also, because I think the first time we worked with you was on What If with Dallas Jenkins, and you guys were doing unbelievable design and producing it.
Yeah. We so Matt Telford, bless his heart, miss you, brother. Still
Yep,
still hard
me
to
too.
believe that he's gone, but yeah, that was kind of our first. That literally was our first opportunity with 10 West Studios. You guys bringing What If to us, and Matt and I co-produced that, and it was fun watching Dallas work. Learned so much. That's really what the whole studio was training ground for us to be able to produce our own content. So thankful that you guys were willing to trust us.
Well, that's also when there was a great rebate.
Yeah, that helps too, right?
Yeah, and there was a great rebate in Michigan, which I think is what initially got us there.
Yes. Yep.
But you guys were talented, though. You know, you go to some of these other rebate states, and they don't have that. Like, you guys really brought, I mean, all of a sudden, obviously, you're a super talented director and writer and a ton of things. But, you know, had Mike met you before that? Had you already done the Christmas movie one?
No, that was What If was our first experience with you guys. We had worked with Dallas. Matt and I came on board the short version of What If with Steve Baldwin, and Matt and I were the production design team on that with James Cunningham, and we met James through Dallas. And Matt was a sculpture major, fine art major, U of M, and I was obviously
That's right.
art major. So we kind of brought that element to the table. And look, our whole goal was just to help raise the bar and the content in that space, the production value in that space. So we were very thankful that you guys gave us a chance.
Well, I mean, and grateful to have met you and also discovered an unbelievable talent. Not that we discovered it, but, we discovered.
You guys gave me my first shot, man.
Ourselves came upon this great talent. Okay, so you come on God's Not Dead. What was that like for you as a director? Was the script was pretty tight, though. Chuck Konzelman and Carrie Solomon had written God's Not Dead, and that's a whole front story to that. But then when you got it, how much rewriting did you end up doing on that?
Chuck and Carrie are super talented guys, and they had a big vision for this movie. And sometimes you've got a big vision and you've got X amount of resources. And that's, again, where we found ourselves with that project. So more than anything, it was taking the awesome story that they had created and boiling it down a little bit to make sure that we could accomplish the production of it within our tight window. But yeah, that was another tight one, man. You got to make it fit, right? So I think we had 12 days of prep for that movie was all, and 18 days of production.
What was your first scene that you shot in God's Not Dead?
Oh man, that's going back, brother.
Do you remember?
I think our first, yeah, I do. It was Josh approaching the table at LSU. It was a giant crane shot through the trees on the campus of LSU. With him approaching the registration table for classes.
I mean, that's a pretty, yeah, that's a beautiful shot indeed. But also it kicks off the whole movie, really.
I think it sets up the quality of what's to come, right? That whole opening sequence of following these characters a little bit through their daily lives and getting to know them, and the beautiful light down there in Louisiana. We were really blessed to be able to shoot on that campus, man. It's special down there. I love shooting in Louisiana. It's a great state.
Where were we? What was the city that we were in?
Baton Rouge.
That's right. Yeah. When you read the script for the first time, what was your opinion of God's Not Dead at that point?
When you guys sent me the script, I felt that it was a special project. In fact, I remember having a conversation with Mike.
Michael Scott, by the way, is who we're referring to, co-founder of Pure Flix.
I'm like, hey, Mike, I think we have something special here. I think this has really got a shot to make some noise. Just starting to see, we had full buy-in from our cast, and they were there for it, and they believed in the story. And it's again, man, I call some of these films miracles because you guys were so limited on the availability of production capital in this era of the faith film world. It was difficult to get investors to pony up, and I understand it. You gotta prove yourself. But then that film did the trick.
Well, I remember. Obviously, it's for those of you out there who have not heard of the God's Not Dead franchise or seen it. It was made for the first one was made for $1.2 million. And then it grossed about $63 million in the box office and became the number one independent independent live action movie of 2014, and a bunch of other awards as well. But my first memory of it was getting off a plane and then doing the night shoot where the rain was coming down, and Kevin Sorbo was laying there after he'd been hit by a car. Not me. I didn't hit him. Somebody else hit him. And he just kept saying how big the drops were as he was getting pelted in the eyes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I remember the conversations with the special effects guys were like, "Can we make this a finer mist?" And they couldn't. Sorbo was getting hailed on, man.
And the funny thing, the funny thing too is I think it was like October 28 or something, right? I feel like it was right around that time. It was cold though.
Yeah, I believe he had a wetsuit on under his costume because it was like 38 degrees or something. And when you're getting pelted with giant raindrops, it was like monsoon or hurricane. There was no sprinkle or mist. It was one of those two. So
I just remember getting this, and then I got a bunch of new pages, and they're like, "Here, you're just going to go say this right away." I just literally got off the plane. It's like 10 or 11 p.m. It's almost midnight. They hand me like 5 pages, and they're like, "We changed this. This is what you're going to say, and you got to go in about, you got like 20 minutes."
yes.
And it was trying to learn all this stuff that I was going to talk to Kevin Sorbo about while getting pelted by really large drops. And apparently they were not, they couldn't heat the water for some reason.
Right.
All I know is that Kevin and I just said, this is Harold. This is Harold doing this to us.
Yes, I enjoyed every minute of it. It was awesome. Oh boy. Yep, it's always Murphy's Law on set, right?
That was a great scene, though. Here's the interesting thing, though. People are going to wonder, how in the world did you get? I know the answer to this, of course, but you're the director. So how did you get him to fall like the Die Hard fall slowly while reaching out?
Yeah, so we did the on location shoot, the right before and the right after, and then later on a soundstage with the during the moment of the fall. We set up a green screen on a stage in Los Angeles, and we had a 1-day shoot, and we brought a crew in, and they connected Kevin to the wire rig system, and he got to do his flips and land in a green mat. So, but the guy's Hercules, right? So he did take after take after take. He can't hurt him. Serbo's a beast. So
It's true. Did you did you have a specific thing in your brain though about that Die Hard scene when what's his name falls? But he moves his hands a lot as he's falling, like he can almost grip. He can't,
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how we could make it look like Kevin's leg was already broken. That was, that's the dream back in the day before all the visual effects capabilities that we had. Is I wanted him to already be like in pretty rough shape. And anytime you shoot something high speed, it's always a challenge to find that right piece. But it's a great moment. Man, see, now I'm gonna have to go back and watch these because it's been a couple years since I've seen some of these, and I'll have to dig back through my notes. I still have my notebook from all of my films that someday, hopefully, my kids will be able to look through and go, "Dad was crazy."
That is really cool. I mean, I remember going into the house of the guy who did Baywatch, and every episode he had the script printed out, and then he had them like a hardcover on them.
Oh, okay.
He had done a hard book cover for the entire Baywatch of however many years. It was the creator of it. So, but then every one you would pull out, you could see he had all his notes in there. Are you going to do something similar to this?
Yes, Dave, that's exactly how I'm doing that now. I just have.
Well, I mean, you're not gonna. Are you gonna just leave it in a ragtag book, or are you gonna try to make that book look nice?
I'm not gonna make it look nice, man. It's the real thing, right? So it's still got dirt on the pages. I've got all my storyboards and those things. Like there's footprints on it. A tremendous amount of spilled coffee, I'm sure, and whatever, and maybe some plastic sleeves where there's some things. But yeah, it's that's what it was. Here, kid, you get it in a box. Good luck.
I hope your kids read it more than, my dad had left me all these sermons, that same thing, handwritten out sermons, and I have just boxes of them. And to be honest, I don't actually go through them very often. And so I hope that your kids are better than me, and that they actually read your writings.
We'll see. I'll let you know if I hear anything from beyond the grave.
We'll when this podcast's on year 38, we'll look back. We'll interview Harold's kids and see if they're actually. I'll be like, are you reading Harold's writings? Guys, watch this on Spotify or YouTube right now, and you can see, as Harold is going to go back and watch all these movies, you could actually just watch the podcast here, and you're seeing these scenes, these chosen scenes that Harold's talking about right now.
Yes, and I'll see 2 cents of back end for every view. So watch it a lot.
So let me ask you, what's your favorite scene in God's Not Dead that you shot? Not necessarily that it was the best to watch, but that you remember, besides mine in the rain. But like, when you look back at that movie and you had a day, one of those days that was like maybe the best day of the shoot, whether it was the easiest or you have a great memory from something, like what is the one day that sticks out to you?
Yeah,
Or do we need to look at your manual?
there's a couple scenes in that film that I'm very proud of. One of the scenes is a scene with Marco Khan. So that storyline is that he's a Muslim man and he has this daughter, and she becomes a Christian. He actually physically places her outside of his house, outside the door of his house, and closes the door on her. The actress did just such an incredible job, in that moment, really losing it and being all alone. But I then said, okay, guys, we're done with this piece. And we were scheduled to move on to the next set. And I said, no, we're missing the other half of the story. We need to make sure that we show Marco in this moment and what this has done to him. And I think it's a very powerful human moment where we show a father, irregardless of your faith or your beliefs, just completely broken, and having just basically lost his daughter. That was something that was very important for me to show. That's one of my favorite scenes in any of my of the films, any of my work that I've done. I constantly come back to that one. I always like to find those gritty, real human moments, right, where it's irregardless of faith or beliefs, but just finding the humanity and the struggle within that, which leads us to, I hope finding a deeper understanding of not only ourselves, but what our beliefs are and what we can put our faith in.
Yeah. Did you grow up with faith? Are your parents, did you grow up in Michigan there?
I grew up in Michigan, and I grew up largely not going to church. Wow. All right. I haven't talked publicly about a lot of this. Okay, Dave, here we go.
Whatever you feel comfortable with, dude.
I was, my family was Catholic, right? And my dad was a public school superintendent. And at the time, my dad was instituting some really forward-thinking educational elements into the school system with the arts and band and physical education and things that were offered to kids, K-8 through high school. And there was a disagreement between my dad's education philosophy and some of the people in the church at the time, and I wasn't, and therefore I wasn't baptized. My family ended up leaving the church over that, and so my journey to faith was really complex. And I mean, our spiritual journeys are a journey that I think happen our entire lifetimes, right? So I'm still on that journey, but yeah, in high school, I had some pretty traumatic events that I went through that really led me to my faith and my beliefs, and so I when I started working as a filmmaker, when I left my teaching job, I was a high school art teacher, to go to LA to become a filmmaker. I didn't go to LA to become a Christian filmmaker, for a guy that loved making movies and loved film, who happened to be a Christian, right? And then it feels like God's kind of always been pulling me toward that faith. And so yeah, then you guys come along and felt like a plan. was there for me the whole time.
Do you still plan a lot from what you used to do?
I try to do what God puts in front of me every day. That's basically it, right? I try to accomplish that. Yeah, I have missions and goals and things that I want to accomplish and do, but I also know that all of that could go away tomorrow, right? If something else is put in front of me. So
Yeah.
yeah, what's the saying about best laid plans and God having other ideas?
It's an interesting thing because I don't know about you, but especially when you're younger, you're pretty wide eyed, and you came from Michigan, so I would imagine you had a similarity to the expectation of Hollywood and what it represented. Obviously, I'm from Kansas, and then that going there and at 19 for me, and what I think that I'm going to achieve by the time I'm 25 and 30 and 35, and it pretty much goes out the window because obviously you go, you pursue the things that is your dream and or you're passionate about and hopefully you're good at somewhat, and in the process of it, life unfolds, which doesn't look a lot like your dreams a lot of the times.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I went to LA knowing full on that, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And I have a pretty,
10.
I have
Try 30.
a, I have a pretty tenacious work ethic, which, thanks Dad for that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do it in 5. I got 5 years. That's what I got. I'm giving myself 5 years. And at year 7 is when I directed Jerusalem Countdown for you guys. At that point, I kind of felt like, okay, I'm actually a working director now, and it makes sense. But yeah, it's but the plan was not to be directing faith-based films back in Michigan after moving to Los Angeles. I would have never seen that coming, right? So
What's your take on this whole faith-based world of where it is now? Because it feels like when we were, from certainly the Pure Flix days, when we were doing Jerusalem Countdown and the God's Not Dead franchise, and then you did a host of other ones along the way as well. Do you feel like it is changing? How do you feel like it's changing, and or is it changing, or is it still the same that it was back in 2012?
I think it's kind of the Wild West right now. I mean, I think there's still a lot of opportunity in that space, but
Now, I think it's always been the Wild West.
yeah, right. Well, I mean, just the upheaval with distribution and streaming, and then you got, everyone's short form right now, and everything's vertical content. I think that I think we're at a tipping point, really, with the not just the faith film industry, but the film industry as a whole. Looking at what's happening with AI and the advancements and what's ethical, what you can create now with $200 and a few tokens on an AI platform is looking like a $200 million blockbuster. So I think the barrier of entry of the massive amounts of capital needed is gone. But at the same time, you still need to have quality stories, emotionally resonant characters that mean something to an audience. So I think the quality, the production value, and the quality of the faith films have gone up, and a lot of that's due to look. Our little crew. When I say our crew, I mean our band of faithful filmmaking buddies, right? The Kendrick brothers. We were able to. We had to bootstrap everything with absolutely no money and incredibly limited resources. And so now we're getting some budgets up a little bit where you actually have more tools to work with, and you can make some films that are a little bit more cinematic. But yeah, I think the next couple years in the film industry are going to see cataclysmic changes.
Do you hang out with these the faith-based filmmakers being in the legends? You're the God's Not Dead, one and two. Your movie set the set the bar really for before God's Not Dead, for the theatrical realm, other than Passion of the Christ was there first. But It's at the bar massive. And then, of course, the Kendricks, decided that they had to beat that bar and go above and beyond. And then the Kingdom people decided they needed to beat it even more so. And then Angel Studios said, no, we'll beat it more. Is there like a group of people who have directed movies that hangs out and like does cigars and or reads their Bible, like a Bible study, or what does that group ever get together on an island somewhere?
I thought you haven't been
At a church?
No, man. It's at the Grand Havana Cigar Lounge in Beverly Hills, and it's every Thursday. Have you not even heard of this? We all get together. No, look.
I never got the invite. It's crazy.
Actually, there hasn't been a lot of contact with those guys. I mean, we all, at times have reached out to each other about some talent and talked about actors and how they were to work with on set and things like that. There's been a lot of moral support, I think, coming from those guys because I mean, it's a small group, right? So, and I always try to text guys when they have a film coming out. I'm always texting John Gunn. I think he's actually shooting the second season of David right now, if I'm correct. But yeah, so obviously support for what they're doing because I think the message for those films are incredibly important for people to have, and we always want to pray for other success, and the rising tide that lifts all ships, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a good answer. We had Dean Cain on the podcast, and we were talking about Supermans, right? And the idea of how all these guys that have played Superman, and do they ever get together? That was a question that popped up. And you would think as an audience person, you would go, well, of course all the Supermans hang out and they must have a lounge that they go to. And I think actually he said one time they did, or there was a group of them that did get together at whatever, some Comic-Con or something. But other than that, it doesn't happen very often. Like it's not something that even though I think that our audience would think the same thing. Well, you guys must all hang out together, right? Why would you not hang out together? We don't do it very often. I don't even see you very often.
Man,
we did go to Romania.
Yes, that was a great trip, and talk about, man, some incredible locations. I still want to go film in Romania. It was
I know,
beautiful, incredible. Bucharest.
For the audience out there, this is kind of funny. There was a group of us, pretty much all Christian filmmakers, and a few of our really close friends. But somehow we were going. There was a shoot that was happening in Romania, and we all went to the studio there in Bucharest. And then we decided, because Halloween was right there, hey, wouldn't it be great? We should be in Transylvania for Halloween. So all these Christian filmmakers were in Transylvania for Halloween. It's pretty funny when you think about it.
It was awesome, man. I think so. I'm going to expand on that a little bit. So my birthday is right near Halloween. And so we're all in this van driving up into the mountains, heading to this little village. And I'm like, guys, where are we going? Like, this is the start of a bad horror film right now, right? And we get to this little village, and you guys had set up this birthday party for me where this village came together and roasted a pig over an open fire, and like the whole community came out. We had this giant party. It was such a cool,
in Transylvania. Let's not forget
yes,
that. It was like in Transylvania.
Yeah, it was one of the coolest birthdays ever for me. So thanks again for doing that, Dave. It was a great trip, man. It was so much fun.
That was fun. All right. So before I lose you here in a couple minutes, what Harold? First of all, let's not even forget about the fact though that you directed some major Universal movie. It was the sequel to what? What was the sequel to?
Unbroken.
Comment if you think you know it, but it's flashing on screen.
Oh, I thought you were asking me. I'm like, yeah, I remember.
Well, I didn't know if you did or not. I mean, you seem to have forgotten a lot of things of this podcast.
It's true.
That's why we have visuals on Spotify and YouTube at all times. All right, so tell us about Unbroken. How did you end up getting into that one?
Oh, so my agent at the time,
Was it
Holly
hard to
Jeter.
follow Angelina Jolie's?
Yeah, it was. Well, first of all, that first movie is absolutely incredible, and to be picked to direct the follow up to that was just such an incredible opportunity. So my agent at the time, Holly Jeter, was at WME, and she got a call from Matt Baer's office, the producer of Unbroken, and we had a meeting. And it's so funny. We have this great conversation. Matt Baer, really, really well known producer, and his whole family is Hollywood royalty, and his wife Amy. They're really wonderful people, and we have this conversation at his office, and he kind of looks at me for a minute, and he's like, "You're not really what I expected from a faith-based director." It's so funny, Dave, and I don't know if you ever have this, but people think that you're. Look, I'm a broken, flawed kid from Michigan, right? And grew up playing sports and hunting and doing like we're. Everybody thinks that they need to be very cautious around us and like very reserved, and like we're going to be offended if they use coarse language or whatever. I'm like, man, I'm a trucker mouth Christian. It's okay. And so we just had this wonderful meeting, and
He is. He is.
it was great. Matt kind of shared with me what their plan was for this film, and worked with an Academy Award. I think he was an Academy Award winning writer, Richard Friedenberg, on the script, and then got through the first draft. That was an incredible process. I love the movie. I'm so proud of it. Our cast was amazing. Samuel Hunt, talk about bringing a performance of Louis Zamperini. Yeah, it was an incredible experience, and I'll tell you a quick story. What I was able to bring to the table because of my experience as an independent filmmaker and working with you guys and having to create with what you have in your hands, it really set me up for success. Because look, at the end of the day, the budget for Unbroken 2 was about as much as they had for catering for the first film, right? And I remember the studio execs came to me at one point and said, "Harold, we have to cut all of the raft sequences out of the movie, out of the script. We can't show the raft on the water." And I said, "What?" I mean, the guy was lost at sea for 47 days. How do we tell the second half of the story without being able to show some of that? And they said, "Well, we can't shoot underwater, and we can't afford to fill the water tank on the Universal backlot because it costs $50,000 just to fill it with water." And I was like, "Guys, we have to do this." I said, "Here's what I'd like to do. Get me a 20-foot kiddie pool and 150 feet of black visqueen, and get me an underwater housing for the camera. And we're going to set it up on the front lawn of the location of the house where we're shooting the exteriors, and we'll do that. And I'll get all of I'll get all the footage of that." And they're like, "You're crazy. There's no way this is ever going to work." And I was like, "Look, trust me or fire me, man. I know I can do this." And it was just always this constant struggle. And I'll never forget, amazing studio exec that I was working with, Lisa Gooding, right? We got this World War II life raft sitting in 2 feet of water in a kiddie pool, and we got a giant crane above it. And of course, you just junk mat it, and all of a sudden it's in the middle of the ocean. And then we have the underwater housing. They actually did give me a guy in scuba gear, which was hilarious, in like 2.5 feet of water. He went underwater, and the level of the pool went up about a foot, right? And he's down there, and there's this image of the bird reaching up and grabbing Louis' foot and pulling him underwater. And the image came up on the monitor for the first time. And Lisa grabbed my shoulder and she goes, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "Yes, see, a lot of times it's about ingenuity. You gotta throw duct tape and binder twine at problems, not dollars all the time. And sometimes finding that sweet spot between lack of resources and ingenuity can actually create things that are even more powerful."
Harold Cronk, thank you so much for being here. I love that story. We're showing the images, of course. Again, please check in Spotify and YouTube and all other places that you can listen to podcasts. But Harold, thank you again for being on. I appreciate you, brother, and I look forward to we need to do something again soon. That is for sure.
Let's go, man. I'm ready to do an action movie with you. Let's go do it. Jerusalem Countdown 2 in Paris.
I love it. All right, Harold. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon.